Hey mamas, welcome to Breastfeeding Relief with Bethany. We share incredible stories, tips, and breastfeeding ideas to help on your journey. I'm your host, Bethany Laverne, a lactation consultant and speech therapist who helps mamas with breastfeeding. Not all breastfeeding stories are the same, and we dive into those topics. Welcome to another episode of Breastfeeding Relief with Bethany. I'm so excited to have Masha with Annabella Breast Pumps. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and tell our mamas about your breastfeeding and pumping journey?
Oh, wow. It's a very big distinction because my breastfeeding journey is so different from my breast pumping journey. Everything relating breastfeeding was actually relatively easy for me. I had my fair share of struggle. I had to go on antibiotics a couple of times, and you have this initial struggle and learning curve at first, but I think I had it it was a bit easier than most moms, just simply because I spent a lot of time just reading everything I could when I was pregnant. I'm one of those people who just, read peruse Wikipedia just for fun. And so from that to go to just PubMed and medical and professional journals like Pediatrics Today and stuff like that, for me, that was natural. Yeah, I'm weird that way, I know. And so I found myself just reading a lot about babies and child development and obviously breastfeeding and that neurobiological process of lactation. And for me, it felt less like science and nature and more like magic, just like, um, the thought about moms just changing milk based on the baby's health condition, that's not science, that's magic. That was wow. And so I came to everything relating breastfeeding very prepared, and I had my eyes open. I knew it would be hard. I knew I would have struggles. And I was ready for the challenge. The one thing that I wasn't ready for was the challenge with breast pumps, because my daughter, Anya, her name is also Annabella because she was the inspiration for the breast pump. Um, when she was born, there wasn't a lot of information about breast pumping. And so um, I did all the homework I could. I did my research and I took my breast pump with me. I actually was really, really curious about it. So I used it for the first time when Anya was 8 hours old. Everybody went home. She went to bed. I put the breast pump on and I was absolutely shocked. I remember thinking that I could have just as easily taken my vacuum cleaner, put it on myself, turn it on and off, and get the same effect. And I just went into this spiral of self-blame, what did I do wrong? Why did I choose that and not something else? Did I miss it? Did I misunderstood the instructions? Did I do something bad? And I went to the lactation consultant in the hospital and asked her, what should I do? And she told me, well, you just have to play with the settings until it would feel like nursing. And I'm still waiting for that to feel like nursing. I mean, that's just so unrealistic. And so that's basically the beginning of my pumping journey. From that point on, it became an obsession. I just couldn't stop thinking, researching, just looking for something different. And I just I spend a lot of time just Googling breast pump with a tongue breast pump, like a baby breast pump feels pleasant, stuff like that, because I'm really young and I was born into this era of consumer products just being your best friend. And you get emotionally attached to them. They're here to make your life better. I love my robot cleaners and my appliances, and I am really emotionally attached to my computer and my car and my phone. And for me, a breast pump should be something like that. It's there to give me independence. It's there to make sure I can continue with my career and continue developing and being away from my baby. And here I have this breast pump, which is not only inefficient and painful and doesn't do the job, um, I have to have it. I don't have another choice. There's nothing better out there. I absolutely need to use it because it's the best thing I can give to my child nutrition wise. And I absolutely hate it.
Mhm.
And I just couldn't live in a world like that.
Mhm.
And so that's it.
No, you made such good points. Specifically, I had never thought about before the vacuum. That's so true. I was just running the vacuum before we got on here. And I was just thinking of like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that would be very close to the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
But it should be, I like how you say, appliances work for us, specifically, I feel, a dishwasher, it's so lovely. We don't have to hand wash our dishes. We don't have to, with our clothes, line dry them. Yes, some people do, right? Or put them on a washboard, different things like that. So yes, our breast pumps should have made a lot more progress in these last few years, and they have made progress, right? We now have wearable pumps. Yes, they're like $300 to $500, which is very, very expensive. I feel, as like, especially a mom that's going to stay home, insurance isn't covering it. But a wearable breast pump is so nice. They're discreet. However, they are not going to empty your breast as well as an electric pump, plugged into a wall. And I feel like that's where moms get so discouraged, is these breast pumps are not emptying our breast of milk. And that's where you were talking about, we're getting, we're going to have to be on medications because we're getting mastitis or we're getting clogged ducts. And so you made such a good point that, it's not emptying us like our baby truly is. But as working moms, you and myself, we need to get back to work and be away from our kids, at work. And quite a few of us don't have the privilege of our babies being with us, and we can just breastfeed, take a 15-minute break, and then go back to work. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think another point that is, for me, was really, really important is that the feeling of pumping was so awkward, so negative that for me was the biggest thing, because me as Masha, not Anya's mom, not Annabella's mom, me as Masha, I couldn't live with myself if I knew that I would use a device that I feel so negatively about, that my experience with it is so bad. I wanted more. I expected more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was another important thing, because as a working mom, as a woman, I want something better, something that is not only efficient, is not only there to accommodate my needs, to just be so that I could do everything faster and be independent and so the breastfeeding journey and motherhood would be just a part of my life and won't consume me. That's not enough. I want it to be as close to nursing as possible. You have all those great feelings relating to breastfeeding. You have oxytocin, and it's supposed to feel good. And so why shouldn't a breast pump feel like that? It's supposed to be like nursing. That's the same effect. So what is going on there? Why isn't it like that?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. And you made such a good point, because I remember I was working in nursing homes and I went back to work and I didn't have a space to pump in. I was pumping in the beauty parlor when it was not being used. So I'm sitting in this awkward like beauty parlor chair, eating my lunch and pumping. And sometimes I would also need to pump. And so I would go in there and shut the door and be holding my iPad and typing on my notes and trying to pump. So you're like sitting awkwardly, you're trying to do this. So of course I'm trying to think of work, but yet I need to let down and think of my baby. And I don't feel like there's enough milk coming out. No, don't watch it. Concentrate on work, And so I think that's such a good point of it's hard to let down, especially when you're at work. And if it doesn't feel good, you're feeling like this vacuum effect. And I also tell moms, like, bring one of your baby's blankets or what they wore yesterday. So you also get their smell to help you, with that letdown. So I think that's so true that we struggle so much with pumping and give up quite quickly because it's not enjoyable and it hurts. You've made such good points.
Yeah, and it actually works against nature rather than with it. The point about smelling your kids' clothes or looking at their pictures are so great points, because that's exactly what helps us produce milk and to get to those letdowns that we want to get. It's not about having, a strong pump, a strong suction. We're not a tap. It's not like you're going to open and milk will come out. It doesn't work that way. You need to work with nature. You need to understand that it's about helping your body to produce and release milk naturally from the breast. And the only way to do that is to make the pump work like in nature, like nursing, the wave-like motion of the tongue, how the cheeks, the palate, the surface, the pace, everything needs to work together as close to a baby as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true. So I feel like you've done a good job of explaining all about your ideas that you came up with in your head. I bet from, I usually say 2 to 4 is when we come up with these ideas in the middle of the night. And so you didn't like this pump. So tell us how you took these ideas and then you're now the inventor of Annabelle Pump. So tell us how you took these ideas and started creating a prototype, created the pump, and got it into production.
Well, with a lot of trial and error, obviously, a lot. My kid is 7 years old, just think about. And we started when she was 2 weeks. The idea started when she was 2 weeks. It took a lot of time from that to get to a real company. But the first thing we did is just to find a really, really talented mechanical engineer and to buy our own 3D printer. Yeah, I was that naive. I thought a 3D printer would do the same job as a mass-produced breast pump from the factory. I genuinely thought that would be enough. And so we started out with that. We made the first mock-up. We put it online, 17 seconds, and we just got a lot of messages from moms and distributors and medical professional and just grandmothers, parents. Everybody wanted to know what that is. A lot of them wanted to help. A lot of them wanted to join us. And it just became, it was more than just a startup. It was more than just, well, we're here to make a product. It felt like a calling. My feeling of something's not right, something's not enough, we have to make a better product out there, was echoed by so many people that, well, we had to continue. I never thought about how hard it's going to be. I was the owner of a small learning center before that. I was a teacher and a young mom, and I was still in the university and a student. So I never thought that I was undertaking such a huge thing of developing a medical device and, doing that in the midst of a global pandemic and multiple crises. And there was no thought about, okay, this is too hard, we're not going to do that. There was this thought about, so many people are trusting me to make it right. And so we went through a lot of prototypes, a lot of trial and error. We learned a lot about what moms actually need and want from a breast pump. What are the most important things? And obviously, I could have added 10 more things there. So we do have more models coming up, but the 2 most important things that we came up with was obviously the tongue motion and how it works and everything relating to the usability, how you assemble and disassemble and all things relating to using a breast pump. And the other thing was the adjustable size. which was a very, very important feature that we found out that actually makes or breaks the entire pumping journey. Because we know that it's not enough to know your size. It's not enough to buy multiple breastfeed sizes. Your size changes throughout your journey. And there would be days that you would need more compression, and there would be days that you wouldn't need it, you wouldn't want it at all. And so it's all about feeling. And we have this pretty little knob on the side of the breast pump that you can actually just by rotating it, you can just adjust it to multiple sizes, which for me was one of the biggest things. We had to work a lot on that, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, I love that so much. Because they say the breast pump. So I had a Spectra. The flanges that come with the packaging are pretty much the wrong size for everyone. And I had no idea. Like you said, it was like I just kind of like put it on, I hooked it up, I messed with the settings. Like it's a lot to figure out, especially as a new mom, you're sleep deprived and you're like, I'm trying to figure this out. So I love that you can do the different sizes, and you make such a good point of, one day you might be one size and the one day you might be a different size, right? We might be more engorged, so we need a bigger size today, but another day we might be less engorged. And I love the part, I'm not sure specifically what you call it, but like mimicking the tongue. And I think that is such a good part of a breast pump, that you need that mimic of the tongue. And I feel like that really helps like the release and also the suction. So that sounds wonderful. I kind of wish I was back breastfeeding again to try this pump. That sounds pretty amazing. So awesome. Well, I love that you've done this and created this. It's on the market. Why don't you tell mamas maybe something you wish you would have known about breastfeeding?
Oh, wow. That's a hard one because I thought I knew everything.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell you did a ton of research. Like, I think that's so awesome that you really set yourself up to succeed. And clearly you have succeeded a ton and you're helping other moms succeed. But I feel like a lot of moms, I catch them going into their second journey and they're like, I never took a breastfeeding course. I never did any research. I just thought you hooked your baby up to the breast and there you go. So, yeah. So what's maybe something you wish you would have done extra?
Well, I think that I would have reminded myself more that the fact that it's natural does not make it easy. Mm. And the fact that, and even if I did the initial research when I was pregnant, it's always good to just go back and just to refresh everything you learned. And to just don't be so hard on yourself, to understand that it's a process and it takes time and it will get better. And I think that's it. It's not, I think it's more, well, for me, it's more about pumping than breastfeeding, I think, because, and partly because I was so focused on the pumps that I forgot to just enjoy the first steps of breastfeeding. But there's a lot of frustration, and there was a lot of, like you said, you thought that, well, the baby would just latch on, and I would sit on my phone, and everything would be okay. But and it doesn't necessarily gonna work that way. And so even if you face challenges, even if it's hard, it's okay. And it's really, really okay to ask for help. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've made such a good point, because I feel as first-time moms in the fourth trimester, that is the hardest thing, is to ask for help. I know
Oh
I
yeah.
personally
Oh
had
yeah.
trouble asking for help. You feel like you watch Instagram, these moms have, anywhere from 3 to 5 kids, and you feel like they're killing it. And you're just like, what? I have one child to take care of. Like, how is my house so sturdy? How is the laundry piling up? How can I not do this by myself? But it's such a huge transition going from being, just taking care of yourself to now you have a whole other human being to take care of, and they're so little and so tiny, and you're like, all they do is eat, sleep, and poop, and you just feel so overwhelmed. But mamas, it's okay to ask for help. I just love that you said that. And mamas, please remember, you can always reach out to me. I do one-on-one support for 30 days, and you get access to me for 24 hours a day. You can send me messages, videos, and I will get back to you in less than 24 hours, faster than your doctor or your lactation consultant in an office. And I will answer all your questions, send you research advice, send you motivation, and just listen to you. I want to make sure you feel supported on this journey. So is there anything else you want to add about pumping? Any other advice you can give to our mamas today?
It's the same advice, only in a different phrasing. Educate yourself, learn, ask questions, be curious. And, it's not only okay to ask for help, it's okay to demand it. You created a human being. The world is indebted to you. The world, the people around you is supposed to help you, are supposed to support you. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. Can you let our mamas know how they can connect with you and how they can get one of their pumps to make their pumping journey easier?
Well, best way to reach me is just to connect to our Instagram or Facebook at Annabella Breast Pump, and our website, annabella-pump.com. I'm always there. I'm answering. That's it.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on today. I super appreciate it.
Thank you. It was fun.
Thank you so much for listening in. If you loved this episode, it would mean so much if you would share it with another mama or post on social media and tag me. I want to personally thank you for wanting to help other mamas. You got this. I'm rooting for your breastfeeding journey.